The Pike County Fiscal Court last week appointed 5 people, along with 2 alternates, to the county's ethics board. And, of course, from what the article said was that the ethics board had not been active since the current administration has been in office for nearly 2 years now. Now think about that. We have all seen the newspaper articles that have raised questions about clearly questionable, outright unethical practices that have taken place in county government. And these things aren't new, but the county has had an ethics board for, as far as I know, many years. Unfortunately, since the current administration came in, it's not been utilized. And prior to the current administration, to my knowledge, it wasn't active. Now, you think about that. With the millions of dollars that go through the fiscal court's hands, whether it be severance tax, mineral severance tax, occupational tax that we all have to pay thanks to the fiscal court, whether it be property taxes, and every other form of tax that the county receives, there's a lot of money goes through there. And we've all seen these stories that have come out in the newspaper about insurance procurement, about, road work, contracting.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, and the sad part about that, Pat, is if we had had an ethics panel in place, those things may not have happened. There may have been some scrutiny. And if you look, there's some really, really fine people that have been appointed to this panel. There's 2 ministers, Jerry Bliffen and Harold Lane, both of whom I have tremendous respect for. Former Circuit Judge Charles Lowe Jr., Jim Pruitt, and Ryan Stratton. You have 3 people with legal backgrounds on there, 2 well-respected ministers, and then Fred Runyon and Kevin Hall are the alternates. And I'm happy to see that we have some really good people on there. The question that the people in this county need to ask is, why now? Why? Is it because of all the bad publicity? Is it because of all the heat? Is it because now in 4 weeks, the people of the county get to vote on whether or not to keep the magistrate form of government or we go to a commissioner form of government? Could you think there might be a strange coincidence that 4 weeks before an election, almost nearly 2 years after this administration has been in place, they reconvene the ethics board after there have been a lot of questionable conduct by county employees, by members of the fiscal court? We really, really, really need to look behind why this was just done now.
Well, it's a good thing that it is back in place.
It's a good thing it's back in place. It's a little too late because there have been some things that happened that I think these men on this ethics panel would have probably been able to prevent.
And, of course, you mentioned the election coming up. So in less than a month, we get to go vote on which do we want to do, keep a magistrate type of county government or go to the commission style county government.
Well, I don't think a commissioner style of government could do any worse than what we have. We have a system in place where a lot of severance tax has been wasted and squandered. If you look at the county, because I'm from the county, I live in the county, road work not getting done, a lot of fine, hard-working county employees not being given the proper equipment to do the work. County solid waste workers driving trucks that look like they're rusted apart. Magistrates driving new trucks. The rank and file county employees deserve better treatment. They deserve better pay. They deserve better, safer equipment to work with. Pat, it's just like the sheriff's office. Until we were able to help them get some severance tax money, the newest cruiser the sheriff's office had about 150,000 miles on it. But magistrates were driving new pickup trucks. Now, let's talk about priorities. And let me say this, and I'm going to close it out. I've talked on this program about the commissioner form of government time and time again. Do I think it's the answer to all the problems? No. It can't do any worse than what we've had in the current system. No planning, no. The county has not even put together a single industrial site. With all the resources that the county has had, the county doesn't have a county-owned industrial park. You have one in Letcher County. You have one in Martin County. You don't have one in Pike County. Now think about that. Now, my opinion is this. If the commissioner form of government doesn't work, it can be changed in 4 years. But I believe that it is time to try something new because what we're doing now is not working. And the old definition of insanity is to do something over and over, the same thing over and over and expect a different result. If you are a man or woman who work in this county and you vote in this county, or you have if you're a homemaker and your husband works, or you have, you're a retiree and you have children that work, when you go to the polls on November 8th, you need to remember that there is money coming out of your pay or your spouse's pay or your children's pay or your parents' pay because this fiscal court couldn't manage its own business. And as a result, every business and every man and woman that work in this county is now paying more taxes because our fiscal court couldn't live within its means and balance its budget. Me, you, I have a business in the county. And because of that, me and every person that works for me is paying more taxes. Every other business in this county outside the city limits of Pikeville is now paying more tax. And let me ask you this. What do we have to show for it? I'll leave you with that question.